Okay, it is 6:30 by most watches and clocks and things, so I will call the East River Valley School Board meeting to order. Please rise. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3, changes, additions to the agenda. Have anything? Okay, anything from the board? Okay. Entertain a motion. The consent agenda.
I move the board to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 5, board reorganization. Elect new board member roles. Item A on that is open the nominations. So at this time, I'll call for nominations for board chair.
I would like to nominate Chuck for the chair.
Okay? So Chuck has been nominated. Are there any other nominations for the chair? One more time for nominations for chairman of the board. Okay? I think I needed to call it 3 times legally, so we did that. So Chuck has been nominated for chair. Okay. Now I entertain a motion for board chairman.
I move the board approve the selection of Chuck Henderson as board chair for a term of 1 year.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Okay, this is a roll call vote. Steve?
Aye.
Josh?
Aye.
Thank you. Chuck? Buddy?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So Chuck, at this time, will take the chairman's duties. Oh, yeah. And I'm not legislative representative, so. I'm just.
I don't know what they say. Look once in a while.
Maybe they're reversing.
Chuck, did you have a agenda, Chuck, already?
I did.
Okay. Thank you. Not quite. We're this long, it's a game one.
Item 5B, nominations for vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Josh Holt.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair? One more time, are there any other nominations for vice chair? Very well, I will entertain a motion for vice chair.
I move the board approve the selection of Josh Holt as vice chair for a 1-year term.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the board approve the selection of Josh Holt as vice chair. And we need a roll call on this. Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. Josh Holt has been elected vice chair 8, approve resolution 141502, 3-year MO levy agreement. Do we have a motion?
I move the board approve resolution 141502 for a 3-year maintenance and operation replacement levy, authorizing Proposition 1 to be placed on the February 2015 ballot for a total collection of $715,000 each year in 2016, 2017, and 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 141502, 3-year MO levy renewal. Is there any discussion?
Does that keep the same per thousand rate? I don't remember
It
exactly.
actually would drop a penny if everything holds right now. Currently, we're paying 306, this is at 305.
And this represents a 1.7% increase annually, averaged over 3 years.
It's two something.
I think it's
It was 695.
Yeah, it's compounded annually and then averaged over 3 years. I said 2 at a previous meeting, but I was thinking that.
I didn't do annual compounding, I just did
So anyway, in that ball.
one to the next.
Any more discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 141502, 3-year minimum renewal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8B, approve fire alarm system maintenance, repair, and upgrade, not to exceed $21,500. We have a motion on that?
I move the board approve proposal from GB Manchester to complete fire alarm maintenance, repairs, and upgrades not to exceed $21,500.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve fire alarm system maintenance, repair, and upgrade not to exceed $21,500. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
We skipped the discussion.
Please, you have the chair.
I just want to
Let me,
ask more.
no, let me back up. I
Can I
apologize.
take my eye back?
Yeah. Okay, discussion, I'm sorry.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? As far as just the history on it, and if that's the only game in town, as far as the security
No,
system?
I'm sure there are other bids. Randy's been working with GB Manchester, which is the company that we currently use. Waco uses the same company. I sent quite a bit of information in the board packet. I don't have it all up here. Basically, what it is kind of a modified retrofit. We've been working with the county, and we've got the green light from the county not to go ahead with a full-scale upgrade system. The new systems now are requiring a voice-activated, get out now kind of thing, rather than typical alarms that we have. So we felt in working with the county that this would be a smarter way to go, because the brand new system is going to cost a lot more money. The system is 20 years old at the current time. So kind of looking at it as a cost-saving measure, but something that also needs to be done.
Are they the only company that can do this, retrofit it, or is that the,
I'm sure there's other companies.
Was that installed when the remodel was done? The one that's in place now?
Well, it's been about that time. I don't know exactly.
So it seems like there was quite a few issues with it then, and hopefully they got that worked out.
We could always table it if you want and ask, Randy would come in, he would have the bulk of the detail on it. I've been talking with him pretty frequently about it. This is what we're bringing forward, at least.
there wouldn't be any other vendors that you would know of that would be interested in?
I don't personally know of any, but it doesn't mean that they're not out there.
Do you have a comment?
I just wondered if this company that you are going to hire as part of the East-West Corporation was the ones that built or remodeled to begin with, or had all the friends that did the architect work and the construction.
GB Manchester is a well-known company. They deal with systems. They put in their Waco system. They do the alarms. They do phones. They do fire. They're actually called Prairie Industries or Prairie Electronics. At this time, the company's been bought out, but they kept the name because it's so well known in school, like emergency and call-out systems. I have confidence in them. We work with them exclusively out of Waco. They're well known.
Any more discussion?
Was this set out for bids and they were the only one that responded? Was that?
No, it wasn't set out for bids. The minimum bid requirement on something like this is $75,000 per RCW. And in our working with the county, we didn't want to go out and do a full-scale upgrade because we'd have to do a complete change.
So it's just more of a retrofit and maintenance upgrades.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at, there was a couple-page layout of what all it would entail.
I mean, the only thing that I remember is when they put it in, it was, like I was talking to Buddy, it was almost a standing joke that every time the fire alarm went off, which was pretty often, it was a false alarm, but, I mean, I guess that could happen with anyone that's supposed to, right? But,
Until just recently, it had been going pretty well, but last summer and spring, it kind of started that whole thing again,
it started going off false alarm.
many times a day.
Was there any, did they ever pinpoint what exactly was causing that? I mean, was it just maybe climate change, heat,
No,
something,
the dust,
summertime?
the little, there's like, what we talked about, overkill, there's tons of little sensors, and some little dust particle would get stuck in there and cause it to trigger out because they're warm.
Is that something just maintenance or just, yeah, great, it's good for this stuff?
Well, we've had them come out, clean them, vacuum them.
Any more discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve fire alarm system maintenance, repair, and upgrade not to exceed $21,500. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Item 8C, accept grant application award for transition bilingual program of $10,043. Is there a motion?
I move the board accept the grant application award for the transition bilingual program.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the grant application award for transition/bilingual program of $10,043. Any discussion?
Now, what exactly is this targeted at?
It is for a period of one period of a teacher to provide transitional services for primarily English as a second language speakers. So basically provides a period of Joseph Sambetti.
So, okay, so this is for our kids that don't hear or speak English very well, is that right?
Yes. Our bilingual population typically are English language learners, but not all of them. So it's basically we call it flow-through money. We don't have to really, it's not a competitive bid process. They give us money to serve this population and pays for an hourly.
No discussion?
How many kids would this help?
There's 7 by state definition in that program, which you know is a lot more than that. That's the official, what we would call entitlement.
More discussion? It's been moved and seconded to accept grant application award for transition/bilingual program of $10,043. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Staff reports.
Okay, Karen is doing game supervision, so that's where she is, so I can resist. That's my fantasy in 10 years from now. We'll be doing something.
Which one are you?
Colorado. Colorado. Mr. Granite.
One in the back.
Okay. Well, I've got some things from Mr. Rudolph. He wears a lot of hats at camp. We just get lost with that man. He does aquaculture, horticulture, and he's our technology director for the district, and does a lot for us at the camp. So he had 4 things he wanted you all to know. We have the aquaculture class where they actually raise fish, have 2,000 trout. They're raising to a half a pound. But those put some smiles on kids' faces when they release them. And then 100 that are 6-pound trouts for area lake. So those are the ones, you know, the kid got on Facebook with their fish. So that'll be kind of neat for some kids. And then we'll have 35,000 coho eggs after Christmas that they'll be rearing. So the horticulture class, which is where they work with plants and greenhouse and everything. They're making wreaths for parents in the lodges, so kind of some seasonal stuff. Pretty flexible. They change what they do depending on the season. They actually grow some food that they use in the kitchen. Kind of a neat program. Education Portal is an online program where kids can actually take college courses. And we put in for 35 student seats for that. It was kind of like a time limit. It used to be free. It's kind of like Wikipedia. Now they're always trying to get you up for money. You know, I think somewhere along these tech people figured out you actually have to make money and stay in business. But so this education portal that had been free, they're charging now. We got 35 seats that are secured for us at no cost and 7 teacher seats. So we're using that to help kids that are real high ability or in college credit, because they're not, of course, able to access Running Start or anything. They're locked out. And it also has GED preparation components in there. So there's some neat things for certain kids that have longer sentences. So we've got that up and running. Statewide testing is going to be online, so we've got it. Get the computer set up so we can do that way. And let's see, Mr. Moten doing good stuff in the wood shop. He's got, you guys saw your pins that they made on the laser. Another thing they've got going is kind of a cooperative little venture with Apple Archive. Mr. Moten has a deal where the kids can make cutting boards. They designed these with kind of a graphic design. I'll pass one along by and you can kind of.
No, this one's gonna stay, this one's gonna stay right here.
No.
Yeah. Aren't they cool? Well, beautiful. You know, for $20, somebody can go to the archive and get a beautiful cutting board for $20 and customize with somebody's name on there. And then the archives and the boat program at the camp split the profit $6 a piece every one we make. So that's a nice little deal. Helps offset the cost of our program. And he's got the same thing going with sheds when the season's over and we're done with that. They're going to be building storage sheds. Yeah, so there'll be, if the cost of the shed $600, then we'll just have like a $200 labor fee, and then we can use that to build some. We need a shed for the horticulture program, so instead of having to come up with that out of our budget, we can build some sheds and people will take part of that money, and you know, it all works, and the kids are learning, and it's a good deal. So Mr. Moten's doing great things in that boat program. The robotics he does is a whole different thing, but this is an example of what they're doing in the wood shop class. And we have a assembly coming up on Thursday. The Finnish American Boat Choir is going to be there and sing some carols for the kids and kind of give them a little taste of home. The holidays are hard sometimes, you know. These kids need to learn their lessons. They need to be, you know, reintegrated to society after learning their lessons. But it is Christmas and they're a long way from home, so it's kind of nice to have those folks doing that to kind of make that time special. Finnish American Boat Festival Thursday at 7:30. And Mrs. Swanson kind of raised that whole thing. She's a dining room, you probably know that thing. She and Mrs. Baker, our English teachers, have worked a lot with poetry with the kids, and so they've selected like the top poetry, and we're going to send those poems along with Green Hills poems and Echo Glen's poems and make an anthology, a book of our students' poetry. So it's kind of a neat cooperative venture between the different institutions. And Green Hill has a publishing suite there, and they can publish them in the book. So that's kind of a nice partnership we've got going.
Is that poetry from the slam?
I'm sorry?
Is it the poetry from the slam?
Some of it is. That's kind of what kicked it off, and then they got them going, and they've been writing a lot of poetry, and they just stuff, and the other facilities had Mr. George there as well. So it's kind of just one of those, you have a positive thing going, so we just kind of follow it on through and then publish a book. So we have a current co-trainer with ART, that's aggression replacement therapy, one of the programs that the staff do with kids to try and help them learn how to deal with their anger and their aggression. And each semester a teacher will be a co-trainer so they can learn the program, and it kind of helps them work with kids. And so Mrs. Baker's doing that this semester, and she's doing a good job. And that's a positive thing to kind of get to know staff too. They get to know the people that work at the camp, and they kind of get plugged into the school. It's a good way to work together. And I have to say just one last thing for the board. We've got some really impressive teaching going on out at the camp. If you're welcome to come on out there and visit sometime, just let me know. We'll kind of give them a warning. But, you know, I mean, I've been doing a lot of observations, you know, this whole new thing. And I mean, there's some really good teachers. And I know Mrs. Nelson, when she was principal, and I followed it on through, we want the best teachers we can get for those kids, but we're also in a school district and we have to share staff. So we don't want to have anybody on staff at the camp school that couldn't tread water here and do just fine here too. You know what I mean? We don't want any singers. So everybody on staff, they're fit teachers. I've got good instruction going on. There's not one that couldn't cut the mustard here. So I think that's important when we work together to have that. And I think we're keeping that going, and we hire good people, and they're doing a good job. So that's it.
Okay, give me monthly budget status. So we started November at 773,043. These include the expenditures for the month. There's really nothing significant here, other than just note as I move across here, and I think it's the days we'll see how it's reported right here. Okay, so the portion for this month is significantly less for November, because if you look up above, in November we only get 5.5%. So next month you should see this amount again, 203,969. And in January is our month of reckoning, so it's going to look completely different, because then we will be paid on our actual amount rather than budget. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's okay, because that's the way it is. So in the month at 724,515. That's what we start December. On that part? Okay. Enrollment snapshot. December we did lose some of our K-12 population. Those were students who were here just for a brief couple months, moved in and left. CBA's all do about the same. We did have 2 students in that program who moved to California, so they moved their Washington virtual school program. I want to show you on the next slide.
What did you budget for enrollment?
For the K-12 or CBA or?
All.
Okay, for the youth camp was budgeted at 76, and that's based on a letter we received from the camp in April. So they dictate that, and they're basically on the hook for whatever they tell us in that letter. And there are years we have gone back and said, okay, guaranteed us X students, we have less than X, and they do send a check.
Still,
So we have it, yes. The CBA program, we budgeted 35 FTE. So all these numbers here represented are FTE, not actual head count. FTE is a little less than head count. And at the K-12, we budgeted 260.
Oh, so you're still
So
well
we're
within budget.
close, but we're a little on the upside.
Good.
If you look at the next page, this will give a breakdown. I hope you can see that from far away. only sustain a couple of different kinds of electives with that size of crowd. So trying to find that right mix and keep our kids up with the technology and, what the marketplace demands are, does present a little bit of a challenge for us, but you can definitely see some interesting patterns. Now, there's some information here on the bottom that doesn't equate up here, because this is what we're funded for on the top. Now, down below is what we charge tuition for, but we still need a way to count for these students. So you can see that we have one out-of-state student in kindergarten, I'm reading this wrong here. It's no FTE, but it's one out-of-state student. One first grader, two first graders, we have a sixth grader. So there's a total of 4 students who aren't in the state funding formula up above, but we do receive out-of-state tuition for them. So those are kind of our own notes to keep straight, because you cannot turn those out-of-state kids in on their reports for portion funding.
So the first graders are the ones in the immersion program?
These are all a product of the immersion. Even the 6th grader, who's not in the immersion, but is a sibling of a person in the program. So they're all somehow, all of these kids, at least down here, are linked to that in one form or another. So there's 4 out-of-states. I asked earlier about how many students that grant funded is. There's 7 students which are considered transition bilingual.
Is there a reason that the total at the bottom, of 150 plus 138 equals 289 instead of 288?
Well, we've got head count versus FTE. So like kindergartners, if there's 5 of them there,
Okay,
there's only 2.5 when it comes to funding.
so it might be a rounding error
So
or a rounding.
Well, Mike's question is the total number of boys plus the total number of girls should be the total number of head count. It's not that.
You would think.
this right here.
Yeah. Should be 288.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it should be because of the 29 in kindergarten. It's not an even number.
I would have to go back and talk to Rand and figure
Probably
out
round it up.
why. Really shouldn't be for head count. Probably a reason it's not going to be on
New map.
the top. New map.
Finish, man.
That's why the classes get dropped in the
11th grade.
Buddy says the 11th grade is off by 1. Caught it right away.
Yeah. Good job.
Let's go over.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. There is a purpose.
That could be a running start issue there too, so. I'll find out. Okay, so continuing on then, we received 2 public records requests this month, and by policy, we're required to report out on those. Smart Procure, if you were paying attention before, you remember hearing this one. This is a company that contacts schools and wants to know everything you bought, ran through your accounts payable for X number of years, whatever it is. The last one was a huge data dump, essentially. This one is a smaller window, it only goes back to last August. I contacted them and said, okay, what do you really want, and we'll just give it to you, because it's an incredible annoyance, it's very time consuming, we have to be able to get help to run these things. They want to put it in their certain link, and it's a pain, frankly. And they said, oh, they don't really want anything in particular, so in other words, they want everything. But they did say they put us on a 120-day window instead of a 90-day window. But they're not going to go away. So anyway, that's one request. The second one was from the University of Washington Center of Education Research. They wanted a copy of the teacher's contract. That one was a little easier, except the whole thing wouldn't scan and go in one. So I had to send it in about 4 or 5 chunks. I should have sent it in about 20, just
How come you're just gonna give them a list of the vouchers? Wouldn't that satisfy their?
because they have a certain
need enough format?
They have, yeah, Tom and Linda helped us with the last one, and they're gonna help us with it again.
Yeah, do they pay the cost?
Well, they will, but, you know, I told you, Dub, I said, okay, it's not working, I'm trying to send it 4 times, send your 15 cents a page. Well, we don't mind getting it in 4 or 5 pieces. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give this one more attempt. You know, it wastes a lot of time, but,
Oh, I thought it was, if you can charge for it, then why not hire somebody and
Well,
and have
they-
them do it and then charge them? You charge them that money,
Right.
maybe quit
they
making it.
pay like 15 cents a page. So basically, they'll send postage.
You can't charge them for the, having hired
You
somebody.
might be able to, but by the time you went all through that, you know, I kind of want to get it off my plate, but it's still definitely an annoyance.
They're doing it in every school district.
They're doing it to, I know, a lot of school districts. I know the ESD was involved last time trying to figure out how to handle the massive data request. So, because it was several years of data. I mean, we have the data, it's just getting it in a nice format. Another thing that's going on is OSBI puts out study and surveys grants for school facilities. This is actually a required process you have to go through before you can even run a bond of any kind for school. So we're putting in for a grant with that. We're using ESD, and it measures a bunch of things, and the best way to get the best definition, you can go on OSBI's webpage. Basically, they come and look at your buildings, your square footage, your usable learning space. You get a score, essentially, and then that helps drive your bond eligibility and your funding match and things of that nature. So the timeline for completing that is in April. We should be notified any minute now about the grant. We've been told that we will get the grant. We've been told that the price for the study and survey won't exceed the grant. So it really is a no cost to the district.
How often does that survey have to be done? Because that was just done 2 years ago.
I think it's
Well,
5
It
years.
wasn't done.
It's every 5
It was
years.
started.
It wasn't completed?
How could they have the bond with
How could it not be completed?
It's not-
It was started by the ESD?
It was, well, there were people involved, which is part of the problem. It was passed off, and if you remember, we started with ESD Consolidated Services. Then it went to BLRB.
Right.
They were apparently told to put it on hold. I've got the whole email chain of documentation. We had a change of leadership. It never got completed. OSBI has no recollection of a completed study and survey. But that was kind of our question as well. It did go out for a bond. So it's partially done by 2 different consultants, basically. So,
Okay, I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought I remember
I,
reading some of the findings from that, but apparently I didn't.
well, there has to be one done every 6 years to stay current. So we have some like 2002 on the shelf, and this has been a long circuitous trail. They're not showing any evidence of it, so probably partly why they're willing to give us another grant for finishing up. So that's coming. A couple other goings on, I don't know whether you noticed or not, but one of our bands has a lot of peel and paint on it, chipped, blotchy. So that's off, getting repainted right now. I'll go to the garage doors in a second, but we had a surprise bus inspection by the state patrol. A little on schedule. Got a very good report from that, so hats off to Carl, they really did a good job out there. We haven't been down to the bus garage lately, you should, just to see, make some changes, it's really nice. One thing we're currently getting bids on right now is garage doors. Bus garage has never had doors. I know we've gotten by this long without garage doors, but what's going on is the birds are having a heyday in there and pecking them apart with the wrap,
We should not have insulation. over it.
tie back and different things, ripping it down and doing flyovers and
Bombarded.
leaving deposits on the top of
Yeah.
the buses, which is hard on the paint. And so, we don't have any idea what it costs. I'm sure it'll be pretty expensive, but we need to start out with some bids to at least have some kind of data to make a decision of what, if anything, we want to do about that. So, that'll just be a future item as we get more information on it.
How many buses have to be left outside everything?
Well, I think right now, just one, that one over at the edge was surplus. And we'll probably be surplusing another one. We're down to 5 routes. We had 7 a couple years ago. So I still think there's one bus outside, maybe 2. Depends which one, you can move some of the bigger ones in, the little ones out. Let's go back.
So that end bay down there is quite a bit narrower. You cannot put a bus in an end bay.
Yeah,
It's only if I remember, it's only a 10-foot bay. You would really put mirrors in it.
it's pretty tight. I mean, even as it is, you can see there's not a lot of room in there. Carl was talking about maybe just even reversing that instead of having a back end, maybe pull in and have the doors, because the way they're parked right now, the door would be in the same place, but if you're in there with the doors and the doors, all the exhaust. So I'm just rethinking maybe how that was going to work.
We used to always pull in, so when buses work on campus, we would always pull in on that.
Right. So let's see some more changes.
Once you would close that, are you going to have any special requirements for exhaust talking about that?
I'm sure there would be, especially if you're going to, a lot to think about, so we're just kind of getting started on it.
So Carl's made tons of safety improvements. Ed did a great job, don't get me wrong, he did a really good job. But there was a lot of just little overlooked things like extension cords straight across the floor and just little things like that that Carl's used to being either in a state shed or a UPS or things like that, and you don't get away with that kind of stuff. As soon as he got there, it's kind of like, gosh, we have, the potential for basically lawsuits, so.
He's doing a great job. So just to let you know, because you might see some people poking around on the weekend with tape measures, there was some folks down last weekend, and so you want to see some activity around there, doing driveways. The process, some board members have mentioned about a facility tour, so I was kind of hoping we could do that in January. December's a bad month to try to coordinate some of these things. And then also, we had a board workshop last February. We'd like to try to do at least one of those a year. We're going to talk about goals and board goals and responsibilities and job descriptions and where we're headed. So I thought what I would do is probably send out some emails or kind of look at your calendar. What's not available might be easiest rather than me saying, how about this day, how about that day? So I will get something out. If there are dates that you know you're gone,
Lisa, I did talk to Patty Wood about maybe coming down for the board workshop. She's ready to do that anytime. She said, just give her a little bit of notice so that she can work it out in her schedule.
I also have, there were a couple people when they're at WASDA, a couple names were suggested too, so kind of ask for some, kind of like a timeline and what something like that might cost, whether it's a day or a 2-day or half a day, kind of get some information and bring it back. Okay. That's it for my part.
Okay, item 12, board member reports, future agenda items.
Well, I'd like to make a comment now that I intended to make when we reorganized. And Bob, I'd just like to thank you for your leadership, especially this last year with 4 new board members, some pretty contentious issues you handled with grace and professionalism. It was difficult, and I appreciate what you did there. So thank you.
So it was actually an honor to be the chair, even to be on the board. I think I was the chair for like 4 years straight. So I was kind of relieved that, I mean, it is nice to maybe look down the table a little bit, and I appreciate Chuck stepping up and taking the job for a while. I think it is important to have, Buddy, I talked about a little bit before the board meeting, it's important to have, maybe a lot of the members take their turn as chairman. But I do appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. And, look forward to working with you guys for at least another year, right? I think that's how long I'm going to look for.
Yes, me and you.
Yeah, me too, that's right.
Anything else?
I do have something to report on my contact with WashDOT. I met with Tor Larson here locally, the maintenance supervisor, and he provided me a couple of copies of the right-of-way plan for the intersection, and also provided me a contact in Vancouver forwarded to direct the request. And so I contacted Dennis Noyes in the utilities office, and we spoke about just kind of the general concept, and he requested that I send him maybe some aerial photographs, maybe kind of give him a conceptual idea of what it might look like. And then he asked me to take a typical section along the right-of-way, which is basically elevations. So I started on the other side of the intersection, took a shot at the edge of the shoulder, center line of the road, edge of shoulder, bottom of the ditch, toe of the slope, and then top of the slope, then over to the sign, and basically plotted that on scale, and sent that to him electronically along with those, and plus a couple of photographs. And a few days later, he responded back, and they sent it to their real estate division. Now, something I noticed, I use MapSifter, Pacific County's website, a lot for all kinds of things. And what it does is it shows approximately where the property lines are at. And I know from my own experiences is, they can have names wrong, they can have the lines wrong. But I've also got, when I did the track project, I've still got the old plans for that, and I have to pull them up and look at it and kind of course, I'm looking at an aerial photograph, which is a base map, and so the features aren't the same, but the lines on the map set here indicate that the DOT parcel that the building sits on and our line is actually, well, you're familiar with the power pole, the light pole right there by the sign, message sign. Somewhere in that vicinity is where that, maybe 5 feet one way or the other, is where that line would run north-south. But what the map sifter shows for the line is it going to the right side of the gate up at the DOT office. And which, there's a possibility that some of their approach might be ours, and then where we want to do our work might be theirs. So, and now that may not be the case at all, but that's what it showed. And I brought that up. Dennis provided me with a contact in the real estate office and asked me if I had any questions, to talk to her, and I did. And I brought it up to her and said, well, aerial photographs aren't accurate, but they are going to be addressing this issue. They have monthly executive meetings, all the division heads, construction, maintenance, bridge, traffic, all those folks meet once a month. And so they're going to evidently take a look at this and then determine from then where to proceed. And it was going to be in January, but it sounds like that won't happen until February. So from that point, then we'll have some indication whether or not they're even consider this.
Is everybody familiar with what he's talking about? Steve, did you let them know about what you're actually talking? I think Mike.
I'm in the dark.
Well, a couple of months ago, Lisa mentioned to the board about doing some retrofitting on the message board. And, I've got a little interest in the facilities. And so, and and it's just my nature as an engineer, I'm always looking at things and how can that look maybe better? And I just, I think we've got an opportunity there at that message board, because, before the remodel, the entrance was right here in the breezeway, and now our entrance is there at the DOT office. And, it's a vertical bank, it's dirt, it's just not very appealing, it's, you can't mow it. And so what I kind of showed them on the drawing was to run familiar with architectural block walls, panel block, or, that type of wall. And maybe run it from the sign right along the right-of-way, the base of the sign along the right-of-way until it got up near the corner, and then do like a radial wall. And of course, it would be deeper on the steep face, so there's exposure of the wall to give it some feature. It could possibly be stepped down a little bit and then landscaped so that you could, because right now it's pretty flat, you can't really see it. So if it was maybe stepped down a couple of layers, it would put a slope on it, and then maybe some landscaping or plants or something to just give a little distinction.
A lot more formalized approach.
Right, and then the bottom would be flattened to where the mower could actually run along the face of it. But that's just my idea. As I told Lisa and the board, this is something that's going to have to go to the facilities committee, and the board's going to have to decide whether or not they want to consider it. But I just requested that they give me permission to make the contacts, and so that's kind of where we're at.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? I have a couple of items. One was something that Lisa and I kind of discovered here just within the last day or so. And that is that when I came on board last January, I was elected as a legislative representative. And that position is, by our policy, a 2-year term that commences on July 1st of even years. So I took it over in January, and what should have happened is at our June board meeting, that position should have been re-elected, and it was not.
Well, there's probably something we don't know that we should tell you now. We all knew that, but we didn't want to know.
So,
No,
Railroad.
Boondoggle.
Is that what that is?
so anyway, that would be an item on next month.
Next month's agenda.
Yeah, and the other thing was, I was approached by Nick Nicola just prior to this meeting, and I would like for Nick to describe what he's after.
Yeah, on the Education Foundation, it's one that works on scholarships and stuff for the kids here. According to the bylaws, we're supposed to have a representative from the board, someone appointed by the chair. And so I was going to talk to Lisa about having that on the agenda for next month as well.
Okay?
I can put it on the agenda. I've been going to those meetings, so we can have a board member and myself, or I could be the elect, or it could be a board member, so I'll be thinking about that for you.
I do have one thing for the meeting that I attended, the VEI meeting in Spokane. There's a lot of people that want to see the tournament go back to a 16-team tournament. It doesn't really sound like it's going to happen, but there's a lot of people that like to see it. The main problem is I think from what I was hearing, is number of teams. There's just not enough teams to drive a 16-team tournament. And so some people don't really care, they don't really care how many teams are available. If there's only 16, send them all to state. So, they just want the old traditional tournament back. And of course, according to Mike Colbreeze, the B tournament doesn't make any money anyway. So why would you want to add another day to it and not to pay for the Spokane Arena? So, really doesn't sound like a lot, but that was discussed quite a bit amongst a bunch of other stuff. A lot of the teams over on the east side are facing the same problems that we are over here. The schools just keep getting smaller and smaller, and some of those schools are just terribly small. We're having at least 3 schools combining just to be able to have a team in summer. Like able to do that in some sports. So the big schools keep getting bigger, and the small schools keep getting smaller. It's just a trend that there's not a lot of jobs in these small communities anymore. So,
And that will affect the proportion between the 6 classifications also.
yes, absolutely.
The students will continue to go up.
Yeah, and, they may even have to sort of either reorganize and have still 6 classifications, or actually have another bigger classification or something like that, because there are so many bigger schools now that just keep getting bigger and bigger. I should be attending, if everything goes right, on Thursday, the District 40, and hopefully I get there this time. So, that's it.
Anything else? If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
You need to scare her.
Oh.
First half a dozen meetings.
Yeah,